My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system, which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft.
It's Tuesday, July 8, 2025. 7-Eleven is gang stalking with the customers. Customers stalking in the path as I arrive to the store, and the store clerk is stalking in the path where I enter into the venue, and they're doing so together under the fake sun. This white pickup truck and the customer is on the camera. EE38T04 is a paper plate deliberately put on these vehicles that anticipate being documented. This is state conduct. The government's being prosecuted. This is a federal RICO. 7-Eleven is gang stalking and its employees. It's 6:14 a.m. This is terrorism. They maintain the door as audible activity, monitoring me inside of the store. And they're literally stalking in the store. P.O.C. Alright, at Vesta and Bonita, I documented this block before, engaging in terrorism, stalking with the police. They already look like they're struggling, but currently they're still not struggling enough. They need to struggle with the federal prosecution. 9LGJ845. Acting with the demons at the end of the street, stalking, surrounding with light activities. 7UXM399. The apartment complex is monitoring. License 7EKY333. And the fake sun following. As I'm walking, that's prosecuting all of them, and I'm getting the behavioral pattern in that specific environment. There's no coincidence of the fake sun. The fake sun is literally prosecuting the population. It's currently 6:30 a.m., 6UEL919, 9EYS261. 7 MOC 569. This is again at Vesta and Bonita. So walking through the side streets, the people of the state engage in gang stalking where they live, and it's engaging in the crime in your home is as far as understanding that justice is going to be met by the government and the people of the state. It's the most foolish thing you could ever do. You just brought the feds to your home. It's currently 6:30 a.m. This is P.O.C. Southwest Airlines is hovering over me where the fake sun is at C Street and Palm at what is 301 C Street, and it's 7:06 a.m. The entity is stalking where you see the fake sun, and that includes using commercial planes. Remember, when I'm west of this location at the Stater Brothers, Southwest Airlines and Delta Airlines and Alaska Airlines are hovering over that location as well, where they're acting like this is what the logic would dictate, which is not what's going on. They're stalking. But this is how ridiculous, and this is why you document stalkers who are unintelligent and who have a corrupt airport authority, And this is where you're documenting, you're taking off over the Ontario Town Square, which is east of the Ontario Village, where you're hovering down at a lower elevation again, and also over the Starbucks at 706 West HOLT, which is west of this location, where you're hovering down over my head in the parking lot again. And all of these locations are also where the fake sun is located, and the fake sun is never there. That's how you know it's a fake sun. When I stay at 507 North Euclid Avenue, where the entity is also concentrating plane activity, and all of these locations are a far deviation from taking off from 2500 Airport Drive, 2900 Airport Drive, where you would not be even to see the logo, let alone discern the color of the planes or be disrupted by the sound of the planes. And I also want to be clear, this is demonic. The sound of the plane activity is demonic. These are demons, and this is a demonic pattern of conduct. And in order to understand that, always refer to the fake sun that sits over a building for 12 hours. It's demonic. It's supernatural. So you see the plane, but the sound that you're hearing is literally akin to like just playing a sound in the environment. It's like the engineered light flying through the air. It's supernatural. Okay, it's just the demonic is providing noise for what it is that you're looking at, and the two are not occurring. There's not a causation for it. The entity is stalking me with noise, stalking in the path over my head, and doing so while the people of the state are all surrounded, being simultaneously prosecuted. It is currently 7:08 a.m. This is P.O.C. Stalking by commercial planes is domestic terrorism. It is mentally sick behavior that the government's going to be prosecuted for, and doing so in concert with the people of the state who are inherently to be prosecuted for that gang stalking conduct right along with them. While they're in their homes, this is where the feds are going to be engaging in what are prosecutions. In the homes of which are third-party facilitating venues. Okay, they're not in private spaces. The entity has robbed itself. You have denied your private citizenship when you're engaged in gang stalking with the government. You're going to be prosecuted in the shoes of the state. It is currently 7:08 a.m. where the entity is just repeating the same as I'm walking east on C Street. And that's what you'll see uploaded to the Google Drive, where I'm at the same C Street in Euclid that I'm at in the afternoon, where the entity is stalking from Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue to the OVITT Family Community Library. This is where the fake sun is at right now. It's 7:09 a.m. This is where the Ontario Police Department were gang stalking over the OVITT Family Community Library. This is where the fake sun is documented, and the Ontario Police Department are gang stalking with the Ontario municipality using a dumpster truck, an illustration of mental illness as well. Stalking in the path, the dumpster truck is light activity crossing a path, and those are demons stalking with amplified noise. It's not the sound of dumpster trucks. Emptying the dumpsters by the municipality in the city of Ontario is not going to disrupt everybody living in Ontario, because that's the loud volume. Those are demons who are engaged in what is amplification. Amplification is demonic. This is P.O.C. So I'm going to show you the fake sun over the same intersection where I'm here at 1 in the afternoon, where the Ontario police, a group of demons, 3 of them in particular, are at the OVITT Family Community Library. And this is the same intersection at 7:08 a.m., 7:09 a.m. All right, this is P.O.C. That's the prosecution of the city of Ontario. You don't even, but the city of Ontario, these geniuses have provided a wealth of documentation that the police are stalkers. And if when the police are stalking, that means they're committing kidnappings. That means they're committing murders. That means that they're engaged in what is unlawful behavior. They're criminals, and they're sharing hands in the system of gang stalking. They're engaging in it with the people of the state. The City of Ontario's criminal engagement in the P.O.C. that I'm documenting right now is how you're going to prosecute any police department. But the Ontario Police has provided a body of evidence for the feds to be sure that they are gang stalking. All right, it is currently 7:10 a.m. where the Ontario International Airport's flying over my head over the 7:10 a.m. fake sun, where they do the same thing at 6 in the evening over the same fake sun at the same intersection, where they do the same thing over the 1 p.m. afternoon fake sun at the same intersection, where they do the same thing at the 10 a.m. fake sun. And the City of Ontario is stalking in the path with flashing light. Legacy Renovation Services is stalking with light. The entity has a City of Ontario entertaining utility vehicles on the street, stalking with flashing light. This is criminal facilitation. And it's pursuant to federal stalking. And the people of the state, the traffic you hear, this is also light activity. The street sweeper, this is again City of Ontario. Behind me was the dumpster trucks, stalking with flashing of light, surrounding the perimeter with light activity. These are people that are letting you know that they're demons as well. This is spiritually what you're learning from that, and what you deduce from it, how it affects your life. They're mentally ill. These are psychopaths who pose a threat to the public. They're psychopaths that are stalking. And gang stalking immigrants are getting deported. All right, Legacy Renovation Services, license 1067640, and the license plate is 92117W3. Gang stalking at Wells Fargo, P.O.C. As the demon-possessed go to Wells Fargo's bank teller, Wells Fargo's engaged in the pattern of conduct. That's a federal RICO case. The establishment is stalking. P.O.C. And this is the one that's been, when I'm at 507 at Euclid Avenue, they had multiple bear vehicles stalking around the establishment where the entity kept the fake sun. That's how you know that the bear company was stalking me and doing so with the people of the state. California is 660935. They're engaging in that while City of Ontario is flying over the Ontario Town Square, flying right over the street with the commercial planes. And doing so in concert with the light activity under the fake sun. This is the same Ontario Town Square where the Ontario police are gang stalking me in a police vehicle at 6:26 p.m. That white male is going to federal prison, okay? The body of evidence of documentation of the Ontario Police Department gang stalking is the evidence that's putting each and every one that I documented in federal prison. It's P.O.C. That's not why you take a job as a law enforcement officer. You don't have the authority to go around kidnapping people. You don't have the authority to go around threatening kidnapping, because that's what you represent. You don't have to state a word when you're wearing that badge and that uniform, and they're intentionally doing that while they're gang stalking. And while those idiots put themselves in my line of vision for me to document, guess what? They're going to prison. They're going to federal prison. Because I got a body of evidence of the Ontario Police Department gang stalking me, and they do it under a fake sun. That's how bright they are. It is currently, while the City of Ontario provides ongoing evidence against the state, and evidence putting the city police in prison and disband. It's already done. You're witnessing the formal process. The Ontario Police is being disbanded. The Ontario Police Department, every single gang stalking demon is going to federal prison that I documented. And everyone engaging in kidnapping is going to prison. Every single last one. The entity is engaging in providing evidence to that end. The people of the state, what they're doing at Starbucks is what I'm documenting right now, gang stalking. What they're doing at Woodside when they committed kidnapping on May 29th is what they're doing right now, gang stalking. They're going to federal prison. It's currently 7:14 a.m. and again it is. Well, the entity is tracking my steps, stalking in the grocery store, stalking when I'm walking through the neighborhood, stalking as I'm sleeping at the TABOR Professional Building, stalking as I'm in the bathroom, stalking while I am at the Ontario Town Square, when I'm in the library, stalking when I'm at Starbucks. How pathetic is that? These are the living dead, though. You need to understand what the priority is. And I also want to be clear, the public needs to, especially the demon-possessed, Satan, you've been proven wrong, and so you need to adjust accordingly. It's not about what you want to be delusional about anymore, because the facts don't support, and your illusions do not support what you would like the narrative to be, and it needs to be corrected. Because the entity is engaging in conduct such that nobody is important enough to engage in gang stalking, and that's an outright lie. The entity is spending millions of dollars in gang stalking me, and that's a proven fact. They're using their businesses, they're using their establishments, they're using their homes, their kids, they're using everything, because I am literally the center of their whole little demonic universe when they're stalking me altogether, stalking me and monitoring my vagina in the bathroom. That's how important I am. All right, and this is not a compliment, it's mental illness by that population that targets American citizens. And the conversations around gang stalking as a matter of what is a public safety concern. You want to talk about things that are you're going to mandate speech and censor speech based on how it's going to affect the public. Well, speech around gang stalking, state surveillance, that's necessarily changing as well. And you are putting out lies, and the entity in this country are intentionally doing so. And this is also going to change, because you're not going to be able to further lie anymore about the fact that the government and people who are demons, by the way, are engaging in targeting American citizens, that they are referred to as targeted individuals who are very much real. Very much real. All right, so I want to be clear. And were you engaged in interfering in an ongoing investigation? Speaking your opinion is one thing, but when you want to inject yourself into an ongoing investigation, you're going to prison. Just want to let you know that, because since the government is monitoring, since the people of the state are monitoring, you are engaged in what is interfering with an ongoing case. You're not free to speak and interfere with, and that is to facilitate and further inflict harm when you're putting in your irrelevant and unsolicited opinion, which is also biased. Okay, so I just want to be clear, be prepared, because federal prosecutions with regard to the illusion of free speech, no, it's not, it's the state speaking. It's the state speaking. You're not on a venue where you're engaged in private conduct. No, it's not, they're third parties. Surveillance is underway online. So as you want to interfere with ongoing investigations, then you're just begging for, like the people of the state, you're witnessing them, they can't pay their rent, they're on food stamps. They're getting government aid, and they're running straight into federal cases because they're dead. This is the living dead. Because that's how important, contrary to what the demons want to admit, this is the reality. This is the actual concern. Not have you concerned with getting BBLs and fake wigs and lashes and the so-called proverbial getting the bag. While a whole bunch of demons are engaged in what is actually of value, and that is trying to take over people, making sure that they're ruining the lives of American citizens that don't know any better. All right, the spiritual realm is real, and this is relevant to what is criminal conduct. So anyway, I just want to be clear, it's the Ontario Town Square. We're a bunch of psychopaths. They're not exercising. They're not focused on landscaping. They're not chilling out in the shade. There's also no planes taking off over the Ontario Town Square either. It's all stalking. And this is mental illness that is pervasive. Okay, and their mental illness is very specific. I'll let you know it's demon possession. But with regard to the secular, land that we live in, and it's appropriate too, because you're addressing it by what is manifest, not through some invisible. That invisible condition is very much important, and I'm not going to mince words, they're demons. But the behavior, that's what is relevant with regard to legislating, with regard to prescribing, with regard to mandating behaviors and how you are dealing with that, like any government is appropriately doing so. And with regard to the behavioral concerns, you're going to prosecute, it informs federal policy, and it is literally relevant for diagnosis and being aware of the harms that this mentally sick population that is outside of California, I'm just in California blowing the whistle, okay? This is beyond blowing whistle. I'm literally sounding a horn, and the entities engaged in this pattern of conduct, which is informing what's going on in the rest of the country, because while one little area in Ontario has a sun over me all day long, that lets you know what's around you. All right, and it is relevant to what is a severely mentally demented pattern of conduct, but it is highly unintelligent. And so, as I pointed out to you, anyone and everyone can recognize that. Okay, it is again currently 7:19 a.m. The sound of everything that they're doing is audible activity. This is monitoring simultaneously underway. It is public corruption. It's also evidence of impunity and malice. There's no landscaping contract that's superseding your right to not be targeted by the state. The entity thought that they were so intelligent that they could engage in what is the business of whatever property, wherever they're at, and that you would never know, you would be none the wiser, and that's not true. You're going to prosecute the city of Ontario for being a gang stalker, for being a sex offender, and for being a terrorist, using war tactics. And you have what are demons that are, again, not even American citizens, not even high school graduates. So understanding war tactics is not about education level and skill set and advancement. It's demonic. That's how the demon possessed are able to engage in psychological torture. It's demonic. Okay, it's relevant to their mental illness. It is currently 7:20 a.m. All right, that's how that landscaping is prosecution of the City of Ontario, engaging the P.O.C. It's audible noise in relevant position and engineered light. Where the fake sun is present, you're not engaging in landscaping, you're engaged in criminal activity creation. It is surveillance. And it's criminal facilitation of any business engaging in that. And the Bear Company is engaging in what is stalking at the Euclid Avenue, facilitating thousands of people that are gang stalking while they're driving. Remember, that's not traffic, that's surveillance as well. And this is where the entity kept the fake sun. And then last night, you're listening to the Ontario Police Department provide more evidence on a daily basis about what is going on right now and who's definitely going to prison. It includes Jason Isaac Fields and Tracy Banks. And every gang stalking kidnapper of the Ontario Police Department, which as of late, you saw L. Edwards, he's going to prison. A. Quesada, she's going to prison, federal prison, and so is Escobar, going to federal prison. And the demons that are gang stalking under the corrupt company that you refer to as Starbucks. All right, those employees are going to federal prison for the July 4, 2025 kidnapping as an entity. It's 7:21 a.m. This is the terrorism that Starbucks was engaging in. Starbucks is still gang stalking. They're in relevant position. They're gang stalking with the City of Ontario. I was just sitting inside of the establishment and documenting it and having a constitutional right and human right to not be subject to it while they had the audacity to make a buck off of it. All of that is relevant to the civil and criminal prosecution, the federal RICO case against Starbucks. This is P.O.C. Sure. What's your name? You're new. I usually see Anne.
And yeah, it doesn't work here anymore.
Oh, okay.
I actually never met her, so.
I've seen Anne on more than one occasion, unfortunately. You need my ID, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. What's your name?
Noel.
Noel. Nice to meet you, Noel. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Just got here.
Yeah.
Looking at
Oh, here you go.
first.
Here you go. You need anything else?
Thank you. No.
Okay. It is.
Yeah, if you could just sign, please.
Sure. Sign anywhere?
Yes, please. Just
I do get an opportunity to inspect my stuff right before I go, or? Okay, thank you.
and then I'll bring it to that door right there.
Thank you very much, Noel. What time is it? It's 9:11. Thank you.
And you're welcome to do it in here.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am.
I like your bag.
Oh, thank
I
you.
like Puma too.
I like Puma.
I got a lot of everything. I got almost everything.
Well, it's really between Puma and
Where you
Nike.
order from? Where'd you get it from?
Actually, this was a gift, and I think that she got it. It was like a last-minute need. I think she went to like Ross or Marshall's, one of those stores, to get it. A really big rolly bag is what I needed. They have a lot of it.
From the room too, huh?
It's really spacious. It does more than I thought it was going to do initially. It like keeps expanding.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm gonna go there and check it out. They probably ain't got no more though.
It's like kind of old by now, but I had never used it, but now I need it, so it came in handy.
Oh, okay.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Excellent.
Waiting to get fingerprinted.
Oh, fingerprint? You got like a government job or something you're applying for, or?
No, I'm taking care of my daughter.
Oh, yeah, they do it for that too. Yeah. Sometimes they do the fingerprints for that too. Yeah, it looks like everything's probably still the As I have it, as it should be, right? It's hot. Is that you, Cho?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, Cho?
What are
How's
you
it
doing?
going?
Good.
I'm doing excellent, sir. How about you?
You have a great memory.
I do have an excellent memory. You have no idea. How are you?
Good.
That's good.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
doing good?
I'm doing excellent as far as
That's
what I'm
good.
supposed to be doing. How about you?
I'm doing
Good,
the
good,
same.
good. Well, I'll be hearing from you. We'll be in touch. I'll be talking
Yeah,
to you
what are
soon.
what are you here for?
Picking up more property that the Ontario Police didn't have the authority to take. But, you know, that's fine. I'm dealing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you?
I thought I saw a familiar face in this hallway right here. I was like, I've seen this one before.
It's been years.
Yeah, it's been years.
Yeah, well,
Never
I'm glad
forget a
you're doing
face.
good.
See you later.
All right.
What time is it? 9:17 a.m. Let's see.
His face was funny when you said
Joe.
property you're not supposed to.
Let's see. All right. When they take your stuff, they're not supposed to. You just have to make sure they didn't steal it. Or, you know, why would you want to steal my stuff? But why would you take it in the first place? You know what I mean? So you can't assume those things. Like, you know, you just have to check.
I totally agree.
Okay. Okay.
Sometimes it's not because they don't want it, it's just to harass you. It's just because they know you need it, so, you know.
Power play a lot of times.
But anyway, I'm not bitter.
You got it.
I'm not bitter at all.
You got what you.
I'm not bitter. There is an appointed time. You know what I'm saying? There is an appointed time.
Put that in there too?
I'm gonna try to stuff it in there. It's too hot to wear right now. I can't do this.
Do you work here?
That's a funny question. I'm working, but I don't work here.
Okay.
That's funny. That is so funny. Okay.
I'm retired.
Yeah. Well, you two have a fabulous day.
Thank you, you as well.
It's gonna be hot tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be 102.
Alrighty. I got everything and some more. Alrighty, have a good one.
Take care.
Thank you, Noel. Have a good one. All right, that is Officer Cho gang stalking inside of the police station, as all of them are. You'll see the images of the impulsible light on the ceiling inside of the police station, the impulsible light on the floor inside of the building of the police station, and the fake sun right over my head. It's the same exact pattern of conduct, and this is identifying a crime scene as the actual police department. And as you'll recall, my documentation in August of 2021, the entity has the fake sun over me in the morning, and that is from 11. And then I'm returning on that same day. It is August 17, 2021, after this department engaged in kidnapping with the very heavily documented kidnapper, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, where I captured the fake sun at 12:51 over my head. Remember that, at 9500 Edwanda Avenue. So they're gang stalking kidnappers, all right? This is the entity that's engaging in the P.O.C, and I document that. Every corrupt facilitating venue is identified by the maintenance of the identification of targeting me with that fake sun over my head. It's not the natural environment. And LAPD, by the way, is gang stalking me, keeping a fake sun over me at the same time of year at Alvarado Gardens, while the Ontario Police Department has a fake sun over my head and over its department, which is speaking to a crime scene, not a legally sanctioned address or property identifying as legitimate law enforcement. This is the same department stalking me day and night, just last night in helicopters. And then they dress up in uniforms like all that evidence is forgotten. And this is going to be a prosecution of the disbanding of the Ontario Police. It's currently, Officer Cho is very heavily documented, engaged in what is gang stalking me, engaged in kidnapping. He is engaged in kidnapping on August 6, 2019 with Tracy Banks, Eric Spencer, Officer Kessel, American Medical Response, the Ontario Fire Department, while the fake sun was over Woodside Senior Apartments, and this is evidence that this department stole. It was written in the log of police encounters, the November 16, 2018 log of police encounters that's written out. And the entity stole that evidence, and the entity is also engaged in, Officer Kessel has engaged in the pattern of conduct more than once, gang stalking at the Ontario City Hall under the fake sun. And I also have more evidence in 2022, which is going to be published onto YouTube, gang stalking at this Ontario Police Department, 2500 South Archibald Avenue. The fake sun is over this venue at 3 in the afternoon. This is already published online right now. You can look at it. The fake sun is over me in August. This will be same time of year analysis. The sun that's sitting over Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue, where this department is surrounded by evidence, including kidnapping me at that Starbucks. And the entity has the fake sun over the police department. It's remaining over Starbucks all day long. It's remaining over Woodside all day long. It's over me in Los Angeles, rising and setting. And it's over this department as well, speaking to the P.O.C, and then they go out into the streets with the people of the state engaging in kidnapping and terrorism using helicopters. There is no legitimacy, neither on the surface nor in substance regarding this department that is going to be dismembered. All right, I'm going to prosecute, and I'm going to prosecute every kidnapper. And you are gang stalking at the police department. They don't have a sense of belonging. Understand, these are venues. I will prosecute you for gang stalking at the Ontario Police Department where you are employed. Okay, this is the P.O.C. The entity has the fake sun at 9:22
a.m. right now at the 2500 South Archibald. Remember that L. Edwards and A. Quesada are engaged in what is obstruction of justice at the Starbucks at 706 West Holt Boulevard, arriving the day after they committed kidnapping together. Couple of things. Let me just document real quick. The third party that you hear gang stalking inside of the police department, you hear me coking and joking with them, but this is no laughing matter. Like I said, I maintain a level of professionalism when I'm dealing with a malicious pattern of conduct. A pattern of conduct that's designed to falsely depict the character of the target individual. I'm not fearful of that, but I am aware of it. And it's akin to engaging in an ongoing investigation and conducting myself in a manner that's expected amongst a bunch of malicious psychopaths. And so outside of you calling me out of my name and physically threatening me, that we can play nice while I'm documenting you, and they're gang stalking me. So I just want to be clear. And these demons know what's going on. They're monitoring me, and they also know that I'm documenting them. License 8WIF039 is the male in the red shirt, gang stalking inside of the Ontario Police Department. And regardless of my laughing with him, that's all audible activity. It's a threat to my life and liberty. He is targeting me with Cho, Noel, and all the rest of the Ontario Police Department. It is a federal offense. It's not different than gang stalking with the police at Starbucks. And that demon also crosses path with Impossible Light across another vehicle while you heard him laughing and joking with me inside of that department. All right, that's the malice of the demon possessed. License 9KCW833. This is evidence of what Ocean and Amelia and Patty and Brian and L. Edwards and A. Quesada and Escobar, the malice whereby they committed kidnapping under a fake sun. And they're doing so pursuant to what is knowledge about what's being documented. The documentation of what is a fake sun that's not going to sit over one building, including Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue. Corey Watson is gang stalking at this Starbucks. Corey Watson, badge number 80548, at 9:16, 9:18 a.m. The fake sun is over me since I've been here before 9, and it's 9:24 a.m. The fake sun is over 2500 South Archibald, where his place of employment, his headquarters for the gang stalkers of the Ontario PD. The fake sun is remaining over this venue. Literally, the imbeciles that are gang stalking are so surrounded with evidence, and then every night they're providing me literally an ongoing running list of federal offenses that they will be prosecuted for, while they lack an understanding about how they're going to be prosecuted and how the evidence has already proven what they are and what they do. And also what they intend to inflict while they practice the satanic targeting system. License 8SBW907, 9KUB483, gang stalking inside of the Ontario Police Department. This is criminal conduct by a police department inside of a police department. I just want to be clear. We'll let that absorb, okay? This is literally that paradoxical circumstance. And it is so absurdly corrupt, but for documentation, one is not inclined to believe it. This is documentation that's not new. I've been documenting the criminal pattern of conduct since 2018. Officer Cho is threatening my life, gang stalking. He's stalking inside of the police station, while then he enters in and I take opportunity to document him. That's why I named him and spoke with him. He is threatening me. He's stalking. And he knows exactly who I am. And he's very much bothered by the evidence as it's progressing, because he knows what I documented about him back in 2019 when he engaged in kidnapping with Tracy Banks. The unlawful eviction that Nathan Morgan, B. Hook, L. Martinez, and C. Torres committed, that's exactly what Cho engaged in with Kessel, in concert with Tracy Banks and Eric Spencer and Tommy Allen Banks, who crossed state lines to engage in kidnapping via criminal defamation. The Ontario Police engage in the same cycle. All right, license 8UVH430, that's the African-American female that you hear speaking with me as well. City of Ontario, 1476525. DG03D49, Demons Crossing Path, monitoring with the Ontario Police Department under the fake sun at 2500 South Archibald, and that's what they're doing with Starbucks as well. This is a federal RICO case. The government has solidified its own demise. Everything that it's doing is exposing the people of the state that are going to be prosecuted. P.O.C. License 8UVH430, she works with children, or excuse me, she's getting fingerprints because she takes care of her daughter. She's a psychopath. She's a sex offender. And she is maniacal in her criminal conduct. She's a threat to whoever it is that she has been giving authority to have some sort of ability to exercise control over the health and welfare of another person. Being documented as a gang stalker, being prosecuted is going to remove that. They're going to be removed from the medical profession, including the areas including health care and at-home nursing care. Those are people that are in positions like Tracy Banks having a secret conservatorship, conspiring my murder, gang stalking me the whole time so that she can X me out and then steal my property. The people of the state are engaging in and are capable of that same. They have a propensity to engage in violence, engaging in what is that sort of conduct while you're monitoring another person, but yet you want to be fingerprinted in order to take care of your daughter. That is directly rebutting what is a level of trustworthiness toward human beings in general. So I just want to speak to that. You heard what she is. She stated she's here giving her fingerprints. She's here laughing. That's malice, all right? I'm very well versed in dealing with psychopaths and dealing with demons in particular. And not only that, she steps outside and she's monitoring. She's monitoring with the police right there. She's doing so and is exhibiting a level of disturbing impunity. That's a disturbing level of impunity, not innocence. You're witnessing mental illness. Mental illness knows what's acceptable socially, knows how they're supposed to conduct themselves. A lot of them fail, okay? Because I hope you pay attention. You're looking at that, but this is actually what you're paying attention to. They're not intelligent, they're not crafty, and they're not normal either. They're not healthy. They're very sick and depraved. These are degenerates, all right? But I want to make sure that you recognize that. The entity has the fake son. Corey Watson is on video at 507 North Euclid Avenue, but yet I'm at the Ontario Police Department at 2500 South Archibald. And that's also, again, all the evidence is serving to prosecute the people of the state who are going down with the unintelligent demons of the state of California engaged in criminal monitoring. This is the demon engaged in surveillance, exiting out of the gate with regard to monitoring my physical movements, and doing so with this demon license 9KCW833 is stalking with this demon of the Ontario Police in a white pickup truck, coming out of the gate with regard to monitoring my every movement. So they're getting in the path. Remember, they're driving under a fake sun and an engineer light. This is criminal conduct, driving a police vehicle. License 1516068. Vehicle 1929, that's a female. P.O.C. All right, and that's the police that have no business engaging in stalking. That's not law enforcement, it's stalking, and they're stalking at the police station. They're demons. It is currently 9:30 a.m. You'll see these images uploaded to the Google Drive. I'm standing right here at the entrance, and this is combined with the 2021 documentation of the fake son over me in the presence of third-party Tracy Banks at 2500 South Archibald, both in the morning on August 17, 2021. After this department engaged in a kidnapping, I'm released from the kidnapping. The gang stalking does not stop. They were monitoring inside of the facility of San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. I confirmed the truth of that. I've never lied about any of the things that the entity is engaged in, but I've confirmed my evidence about what I spoke to before I captured the fake son over my head at that West Valley Detention Center. The fake son is letting you know that everything else within the pattern of conduct is underway. Because, how, why? Because that's not the son. It's impossible that will be the son. That's the specific environment. In the specific environment, criminal monitoring is underway. I've already shown you the entity is surrounding me with this environment where all of that P.O.C. is underway. That's what's happening inside of the West Valley Detention Center. And I already spoke to that regarding the 2021 kidnapping. From June to August of 2021, they were monitoring inside of that facility. I'm released. I'm being gang stalked ceaselessly, including when I come to pick up my property from the Ontario Police Department, which I documented on video and it's published online. The entity has the fake son that same day as we return, also on August, I believe, 19th, and I'm returning in the morning on the 19th, and I'm coming from the OVITT Family Community Library as well. Like, it's all laid out in evidence, the fake son being over this department, speaking to criminal conduct of a corrupt department that's going to be disbanded. They're going to be disbanded. It is currently 9:31 a.m. This is P.O.C. at 2500 South Archibald. South Archibald Avenue in Ontario, California.
Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state. And it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. Alrighty, it is currently 9:32 a.m. It's Tuesday, July 8, 2025. And under the fake sun, you have context about what is going on, and that's called crossing path and light activity. 9JQT 305. Very foolish conduct. It's criminal activity with the police department that is stalking day and night in helicopters. So they're already suspect, and I can thoroughly surround them with so much evidence that I can go to their department and show you that they're all demons and that this is a crime scene in the same way that Starbucks with the fake sun over my head is a crime scene, and there's no distinction between any identity. The state itself, that is also heavily documented, stalking and terrorizing using helicopters and gang stalking in police vehicles under a fake sun that's not remaining over the OVITT Family Community Library, contrary to what I'm documenting when I'm at 215 E.C. Street, when I'm at 507 North Euclid Avenue, Starbucks, where this entity committed a kidnapping. The entity is maintaining this light source, and it's in direct contravention of nature. And that impossibility, that is referred to as the specific environment, and the specific environment is where you're identifying targeting. The entity is maintaining this fake sun. I've documented this fake sun over my head, over this roof, as I'm here in the evening, the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the evening. That's under no circumstances, no matter how many years pass, daylight savings time, which is giving and taking away only 1 year, never is that commensurate to what is, never is that in conformity to the pattern of, anything other than the pattern of conduct with regard to a fake sun. The fake sun is with regard to how you're recognizing a population. This is the 60 freeway. This is gang stalking. It's not traffic, it is surveillance. This is what the entity is doing in Engineer Light. This is what the Ontario Police Department is doing. This is the headquarters. And it's no surprise that the fake sun is over me at the Ontario Police Department, where those demons are stalking me day and night using helicopters. The hallmark, the recognition of what is the P.O.C. of domestic terrorism and psychological torture. And you're always mindful about what I'm continuously juxtaposing what San Bernardino County is engaging in under a fake sun, because Los Angeles Police Department, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, the city of Los Angeles is keeping a fake sun over me at Alvarado Gardens at 1800 to 1818 North Alvarado Street in LA, 90026. And doing so, as I documented routinely, sunrise until sunset. Sunrise being in alignment to my living room window at 1806 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 6 facing the hillside. And then in the sunset, which was 12 hours later, through my bedroom window of the same apartment at 1806 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 6, where my bedroom window faces Alvarado Street. The entity is engaging in this pattern of conduct, and it is entirely impossible to naturally exist, and that is relevant to the intent, that is relevant to the knowledge, that is relevant to the pattern of conduct shared by the state of California, and it's also exposing the secret system of demons that are in the state of California. Okay, this is light activity, relevant positioning, and it's also exhibiting mental illness while you're stalking and monitoring another person that you don't know, that you don't address, and you're doing so in concert as a popular. All right, this is the entity acting directly. This is what they're doing at the OVITT Family Community Library and at Starbucks under the fake sun, and that's the disbanding of the Ontario Police. License 1706937, vehicle 1134, and that's the stalking conduct by a department that's surrounded with evidence of what's not the sun while they're stalking me and using resources of a police department. And this is also removing the gang stalking mayor, Paul Leon. Okay, the entities engaging in this while they are witnessing the exposure. That's also relevant to the mental illness that is clearly shown and proven through the criminal pattern of conduct and the ongoing impunity and delusional behavior of providing evidence against oneself and your co-defendants, and doing so in a manner that's going to be publicly exposed. This is a very demented behavior, and unhinged conduct, and it's demonic. All right, this is again 2500 South Archibald. where they're gang stalking inside of the police department. The people of the state are inside of the police department engaging in criminal activity with the police department. This is where Mike LORENZ, the end of his career in law enforcement. And every single person employed, I don't care about, it's the clerk inside of the at the front desk, they are done with law enforcement. All right, this is domestic terrorism. These are demons who are pacing. This is the pacing that they're engaging in. They're doing it on foot. They're doing it intentionally and knowingly with regard to who I am. This is killing all the illusions with regard to strangers stalking. They're not strangers, they're demons. They know exactly who I am with regard to the pattern of conduct, while the fake sun is now over 2500 South Archibald. When it's rising and setting over Woodside Senior Apartments, look at the evidence. When it's rising and setting over Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue, look at the evidence. When it's rising and setting over me when I'm remaining at the OVITT Family Community Library, they're early enough and late enough. Look at the evidence. This is the P.O.C. All right, and this is the disbanding of the Ontario Police Department regarding what is also the federal RICO case against the U.S. government, the state of California. This is P.O.C. All right, license plate RAMOSP 7CTH013. They were engaged in surveillance monitoring at the entire time I captured the video. You're going to look at that on YouTube and on the P.O.C. website of the fake sun on video under the, that I'm capturing at 2500 South Archibald. License 8BUZ 962. And then in that video, you'll see him getting out of his vehicle, pacing with a third party coming out of the Ontario Police Department. It's the demon carrying the ladder with the neon yellow shirt. He's engaged in criminal monitoring, blatant criminal conduct with the police department. It doesn't get any more obvious than being at the police department, engaged in the P.O.C. 8 RPS 607. 9MGX026. 6BSM072. Oh, by the way, what you heard me speaking with Cho, Officer Cho, and I'm just being professional. That's not an officer. That's not a law enforcement officer. They're stalkers, and law enforcement is not stalking. He's going to federal prison though. Okay, just so that you know, you just heard me speaking to somebody who is going to federal prison. BL 65926. That's an out-of-state plate. License 4ZSJ462. LOSDAWG. That's Mississippi. That's a Mississippi plate on a Kia Rio. Oh, I read this one already. Yeah, Cho's going to prison. He's literally stalking inside of the Ontario Police Department. The demons that are engaged in gang stalking are surrounded with the illegal theory regarding the proof of the criminal conduct that they're engaging in as demons, and they don't understand that they're so surrounded by evidence. They don't have a right to be in the police station. They're engaged in criminal surveillance inside of that police station where there is no warrant or probable cause. There's no constitutional authority to engage in the surveillance that they're engaging in at every location, including at that police station. They are stalking inside of that police station. They're engaged in domestic terrorism. They're monitoring my vagina inside of that police station. It's the same federal RICO case. And he's going to federal prison also for kidnapping. License 9RCE080, 8YOL426, 9JCY827. There is no place for cover for engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring. I'll prosecute you at your headquarters. I'll prosecute you at the police station. I'll prosecute you at the gas station. I'll prosecute you in the middle of the desert. 9KPC 945, license 80453A4, 8DMZ237, 8MWU232, EA29L80, that's paper, 8FOS766, 9DXK737, 2SLIPPY, 8WWD271, I think I read this one, 7YOL285, in case I didn't. 7SLH766. Now, while I'm here at the Ontario Police Department, what I want you to be mindful of the Ontario Police flying in circles over my head at 6:02 p.m. at the OVITT Family Community Library as I'm documenting them monitoring my vagina inside of that library bathroom. I want you to be mindful of the Ontario Police Department flying in circles over my head at the 507 North Euclid Avenue Starbucks as I'm documenting them monitoring my vagina inside of the bathroom of that Starbucks. I want you to be mindful of the Ontario Police Department gang stalking by helicopter flying over the top of my head at what is 5:33 in the afternoon while I'm documenting for over
over 20 minutes, including the podcast and video combined, while I'm documenting and publishing my evidence onto the video of the internet pursuant to Title 18 federal stalking that this department is engaging in. And it's also proven while the fake sun is over me at the department. Mike LORENZ is done with law enforcement, and his obsession with my vagina is also necessarily public information. 9SBU 645, 6BVA 349. Excuse me. 9SKP 529-02870G3. This is a third-party crossing path, as I have a particularly inflammatory commentary that's monitoring. All right, that's P.O.C. That's called stalking with activity. 8JBK442, 8JQD868, 2GDAGUA, 4JXD159, 9DRW411, 23023J1, 8CRY848, 9NCY010, 9LMD131. I'm pretty sure I read these already. 55482D2, 43939. That's handicap, and that's a demon that's bringing shame to the U.S. Army. License 9RCE080, 9EBJ906, 8WWR719, 7GIL262. I've documented this entire plaza before. I documented the Starbucks in this parking lot. I documented it at the 24-hour fitness. And I've documented this P.O.C. and the entity that, again, a bunch of demons that trust in Satan, that trust in their sex rituals, trust in their voodoo. They trust in the witches that tell them not to take heed to the warnings that they were given years ago, and they were gang stalking with a level of impunity that is still sitting on the record, and it's going to be used against every single last one of them. They're already on the record gang stalking at this plaza, at this police department, and all these businesses engaging in criminal monitoring. It's already sitting on the record. And they like to act a particular way, which is the personality of Satan, and it's relevant to mental illness. The mentally ill behave in a certain way when they're convinced beforehand, and while they're totally ignorant of the facts that they're going to get away with murdering and kidnapping somebody. Now that criminal conduct is sitting on the record already. 4888 OS3. I've already documented this area. 8GLP 859. It's 9:44 a.m. There is no sun, there's no natural environment at 706 West Holt Boulevard at Starbucks in Ontario, California at San Antonio and Holt, where L. Edwards foolishly put himself on my camera again, showing up at a third-party company incriminating Starbucks that I'm going to prosecute. I'm going to prosecute them. And I'm going to prosecute these employees while he shows up pursuant to federal stalking, pursuant to gang stalking, and stating that the company, the third parties are why he's there, because they don't want me to be there anymore. And I also want to be clear, let me shatter that illusion. I stated it, let me state it again. You don't have any private property. The entities engaged in surveillance, unbeknownst to American citizens, you're just operating under titles that are constitutionally rooted. When you're not even abiding by that Constitution, you're not going to exploit that Constitution and all of the rights, the benefits of it. That's what the gang stalking entity is doing. That's why I laugh at that. They're currently abusing rights that they don't have. Starbucks isn't a private property. Starbucks is engaged in state surveillance, and the fake sun over me at that establishment is the proof of it. Now, while they engage in gang stalking me and then summoning, and that's exactly, I don't care if that demon showed up and put words in their mouth and they stayed in court. Well, we didn't say that. He said that, and we didn't know anything. Guess what? They're going to federal prison. Because those are the breaks of gang stalking with the state. Those are the breaks. They're gang stalking, period. Everything that's reasonably coming forth from that criminal conduct, meaning this is why you don't engage in robbing banks with people, or period. Because if your partner just loses it and takes too much of their drugs before they go and hit up this lick and they shoot up everybody, guess who's going to federal prison for that with them? You're going down with them. Nobody's going to say, well, we didn't plan on killing everybody. I was just going for the money. No, I'm sorry. That's not a legal argument, honey. You're going down for everybody that was murdered when you first planned and conspired to engage in what is an inherently violent offense, a robbery. Death is reasonably foreseeable. Okay, when you want to gang stalk with a bunch of high school graduates, a bunch of sociopaths that are on a corrupt law enforcement agency, I don't care if he didn't ask them in anything and they just put it in his mouth, he's just putting it in their mouth and stating that they said whatever, because there's no argument that's going to save the employees of Starbucks. That's federal prison. It's federal prison, period. And that is the entity, the people of the state that are gang stalking with the government. and they have the odd, nobody feels sorry for you. Starbucks is making billions of dollars off of gang stalking. Nobody feels sorry for you. Okay, and by the way, the entity, but for being federally prosecuted, they think it's funny doing this type of things to people. They think that don't feel sorry for them. These are demons that engage in bullying people, and they think that demons, these little imps of the Ontario Police who are being disbanded, I'm going to publicly drag them. You're witnessing a dragging. That's what they rely on to try to instill fear in targeted individuals, and that's why I'm going to prosecute them. License plate 8TYK217. Doing so while the entity is listening to my commentary. They want to come close. That's again, they're gang stalking, and that's a communication of a threat. Everything that these stalkers are doing is pursuant to real-time knowledge. While they're obsessed with me, all right, they're hostile. They're mad about the truth that I speak, but they're obsessed with me. They are obsessed, and I'm going to prosecute for that obsession, because the government's obsession is unlawful surveillance. It's criminal, and it does not get any more antithetical than having a gang stalking police department. And you need to know that that level of embarrassing, conflicting terms, it's the work of Satan. Those are demons. Okay, so they're being embarrassed because they serve Satan. Those are demon-possessed gang stalkers. They work for Satan, and they are being hereby publicly fired. They're not keeping their job. They're done. All right, it's currently 9:48 a.m. This is P.O.C. The entity has the fake sun, and I did capture that on video. I've already documented this venue, like I stated. The entity is operating under an illusion, a constitutional illusion that doesn't exist. But that's what they're doing. They're exploiting the Constitution. And while they're engaging in violating your actual constitutional rights. License 9FXN110. You don't have. This is what is so unfortunate as well. Because when it's found out, and it's true, when the government's engaged in surveillance, okay, that changes everything. That these terms that have constitutional meaning, they mean things. So since there is surveillance in the homes, there's surveillance in public, that's not a private property. And the laws are adjusting accordingly. And while, by the way, you're keeping me under surveillance, you're delusional to think that I'm not going to document and expose you. And you don't have any right. What do you think? You're delusional, thinking that you're going to be a cover. You're going to stop me from documenting the gang stalking cops in your establishment. You and those demons will go to prison. It doesn't get any more absurd than what I have been confronted with. All right, and it's all the entity trying to obstruct justice, all of it. License 7CSJ657, 6WNJ635, and since you want to stand in the way, since you want to try to stand in the way, since you want to be that delusional, since you call yourself being a brave heart, you're going to be a brave heart sitting in a federal cell. That's where you're going. You're going from making coffee at Starbucks to federal prison. That's where you're going since you want to be so brave. License 9KPZ945. The people that said are going to learn to stay in their lane, because what you don't want any dealings with is the prosecution of a government for criminal surveillance. LMGIRLZ, you don't want any of that. You don't want any of that. But that's what the people of the state, that's what they're engaging in. That's what they've been doing. And they are the mask that the government is wearing. And I'm ripping off that mask, and I'm disincentivizing that criminal cooperation. And I'm going to cause them to cause each other harm while they gang stalk together. 1A00315. That's an implosion. That's how you cause a self-inflicted implosion. It's currently 9:50 p.m. and the fake sun's no longer over the Ontario Police Department. But as you'll see in August of 2021, the fake sun is over me at the Ontario Police Department later in the afternoon when I'm nowhere near here. Out of conformity with nature. If that's the sun, understanding the natural environment, it's consistent. That's why you have meteorologists that study the weather, and they talk about things like, well, this time of year, this level of rainfall, and that's how you get what are records. And this is what the entity is absolutely, absurdly ignorant with regard to the obvious level of ignorance while they're engaging in the pattern of conduct, and they're doing it under a fake sun, and they're doing it in the name of company businesses and establishments. You're going to prosecute all of that. ARCO included, license plate, Cold Star I.I.S, in case you didn't know, they're gang stalkers. They're engaged in criminal facilitation. This is the same thing that the City of Ontario is doing on Euclid Avenue under the fake sun. License 4864684. Stalking in the path while the fake sun's over me at ARCO. I'm going to go ahead and capture this right now. It's P.O.C. ARCO is not the only one. Traffic is light activity. Fake sun is over my head while you are providing a means of light activity. at doing so through third-party companies. This is what UPS and Amazon Prime are doing when they're monitoring my vagina at the OVITT Family Community Library, and I walk outside and I capture that fake sun. There's no sun over the 215 East C Street OVITT Family Community Library at the same time. It's not happening. It's impossible. That's how you're recognizing. Everybody knows who I am. The fake sun is proving they're not strangers, and these are the demons that are targeting in a malicious manner in a way that was never supposed to be suspected or proven or shown. All right, and then once that is shown, then they just engage in, oh, we're just going to kidnap, and we can say whatever we can say for whatever reason that we want to, because they think the entity. I'm speaking toward yes, the thoughts of the entity, because their behavior demonstrates what their thoughts are, what their presuppositions are, what their false ideas are, that they can get away with it because of who they are, because the gang members say it so, and that's how they operate, and that's literally how the corrupt system operates as well. And there is, again, literally going to be a new system in operation, because that's not happening anymore. 9PYW732. That's delusion. That's just blatant corruption. It's literally gang conduct, groupthink, a bunch of demons. And it's also dangerous because all of the demons together are all ignoramus. So you just have millions of ignorant people. With Satan's system, you don't have a lot of people that equal, an ongoing progressive accumulation of capability and a growing progression of, no. 1,000 idiots equals 1,000 idiots squared. Okay, it does not matter. They're all under the fake sun. Nobody else caught a hint. Nobody got any smarter. Nobody learned from when I prosecuted on the internet the venue before. They all engage in the same exact P.O.C. They all do it in the exact same way, because that's the system. That's why they're going to do it the same way, by the way. But nonetheless, my point is, it shows you that is in fact the pattern of conduct, because once they've been caught, what else are they doing? So now they're obviously doing it in front of everybody. It's the P.O.C. It's exactly what I said it is. It's exactly what I said it is. It is currently, so you're looking at ARCO gang stalking. ARCO's located at 2446 Archibald Avenue. And don't forget about what's happening. So while it's 9, going on 10 o'clock, it's 9:53 a.m. Don't forget, the entity has the fake sun over me at the Starbucks on July 5th. Okay, the entity is surrounding the perimeter with light activity. You know what's the emergency? You know what's the cause? You know what all the flashing light? It's because I'm here. It's because I'm here and because I'm documenting. That's why. And the same way when they engage in criminal summoning, every time you hear the siren sound, it's not an emergency. The emergency is me. They're documenting. I'm documenting them and I'm prosecuting them. And that's also getting to the criminal means of wasting resources. The mayor, every level of the government, they're all engaged in wasting resources, stalking one person. And it costs a lot of money and attention to stalk me, because the entity can't predict what I'm going to do next. The entity cannot predict. They can sit up and monitor and stalk and obsess, because that's exactly what they do. And they cannot predict what I'm going to do next. It costs a lot of money and it costs a lot of attention. Undue attention. You're talking about what is absolutely criminal conduct. These public officials are being removed from office. Their obsession with me, stalking me, wasting millions of dollars in monitoring me. 8UFU 810. 8FFA 787. This is P.O.C. The Ontario Police has the street surrounded with the perimeter with light activity, and the specific environment is shown that it's about me. 9JSC 837. That's why the fake sun's not over the Ontario Town Square. That's where I remained yesterday. That's why it's not over the OVITT Family Community Library. That's why it's not there. That's why it's not over the Andy's Burgers. Remember where I went yesterday. Remember when the entity engages in kidnapping, and then the fake sun's over the 9500 Etiwanda Avenue. What point in the day did that happen yesterday at 12:51? When did that happen? In a natural environment, it would. Which would mean in a natural environment, it wouldn't have been over the OVITT Family Community Library like it was upon my exit. That's the pattern of conduct. And that's prosecution for a federal RICO case. Every business in California is engaged in federal stalking. It's massive and pervasive corruption. License 8WOG589. As sure as the gang stalker goes in and buys one of your products, you're going to be prosecuted. You're going to be prosecuted because the employees are stalking, the establishment is stalking, the government is stalking through you. The government is stalking through the company, the government is stalking through the employees, they represent the people of the state, the government is stalking through the people, the demons that go to that business, because all they're doing is pacing around me. That's all they're doing. Stalking, in other words. All they're doing is stalking. That's it. And it's pathetic. when you put it down, because that's the long and short of it, succinctly, all they're doing is stalking. It is currently I get the time. 9:56 a.m. And I remain at the intersection of Oak Hill and Archibald Avenue, where the fake sun's remaining over. And this is capturing the video of the fake sun over the Ontario Police Department. And this is about the disbanding of the Ontario Police. One of the main purposes, and they are going to be made an example of with regard to domestic terrorism. That's not going to be tolerated in the United States. And also, the entity is being prosecuted. This is a federal RICO case against the government that's engaging in state surveillance and doing so with the civilian population. Any and everything, where they live, where they work, what they own, everything. And it's the removal of privacy rights, of private citizenship. No, you don't. No, you're not. When you're gang stalking with the government. And that's exactly what they're doing. It is P.O.C. It's 9:57 a.m. ZSR 966. It's 9:58 a.m. 8 DSD 815. This is a terrorist that's touching me with impossible light while driving at a distance away from me, doing so as I'm turning on my internet radio in order to use my phone. That's federal stalking conduct, and that's also demonic activity. That's terrorism. It's also a sex offense. It's an unlawful touching, and the demon-possessed are going to be prosecuted for the ways in which they're terrorizing and sexually violating the person and the reasonable sensibilities of any American citizen that they're keeping under surveillance, gang stalking. It's happening under the fake sun. It's currently, again, 10:04 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, license 9TPK333, 79323C3, 7CTJ406, one demon after another repeating the same supernatural pattern of conduct. That's because I'm standing in the shade. And as I stand in the shade, the demons are stalking, knowing exactly who I am, by the way, with regard to also knowledge about what I'm doing on my device. And the Ontario police are right across the street. The police department is in relevant position. The establishment itself, the government building itself is engaged and is going to be relevant to the prosecution of the federal RICO case. This is how full circle the prosecution is. While the people of the state are engaging in the conduct, this is what I mean by as they get it, as they engage in it, they have damned themselves with regard to the evidence. The demons are one after another driving in and out of the driveway of what is 2525 Archibald Avenue. Gang stalking monitoring, Title 18. All right, one after another. License 81888V2. 7WRU509. And 78150S1. They're all, the entity in its entirety is engaged in federal stalking, but I'm documenting the people of the state crossing paths with me right now, stalking in my line of vision as I'm looking at the demons. P.O.C. Nine HMX 027. Oh, here we go. Let me get these demons. They want to stop, then speed when I come in. 39024EA, ZYA1KJ, Arizona, 9EBG145, 31385N2, FedEx 09896N1, 8PDD812, 7JHH 782, 4578 7W2. I believe that's, oh no, that might not be Caltrans. But license plate 27535S3, that's Sherwin-Williams. License 6VHR266, 98800R3, 9G45663, that's All Cartage Transportation Incorporated. And these demons are so hilarious, having a big... The third-party gang stalking behind me at Baker's drive-thru is license 8HVW147, license 93508S2, 9CRD301, 9SBH012, 6YXS941. They're all stalking with the Ontario Police, which is right across the street in this plaza over here. License EP16766. Yeah, 6VHR266. License 7JSZ183.
License 9TKF942, 8GTD942. A herd of demons, a population of them. 9PBL535, a herd of stalkers, all of them stalking together. 8YDY486, it's a pathetic existence, and it's an unprecedented criminal act by the government. 6TQA047. And this is at Oak Hill and Archibald, where the Ontario Police is engaged in federal stalking, gang stalking by establishment, and gang stalking as I'm documenting every demon, every license plate. That's just illustrative of the size of the crime. All of these people together are stalking, maintaining surveillance with the police department that's right over here in relevant position at 2500 South Archibald Avenue. And it's the same police department that you see stalking me every day and night in helicopter. So I came right to the headquarters. This is where Mike LORENZ is being removed from law enforcement. He's out of a job. This criminal conduct that's happening while the police department are in relevant position is why they're being disbanded. This is why I'm publicly embarrassing them and exposing them. This is the criminal system that the people of the state are engaging in. On the watch of these demons, these impotent criminals that are not engaged in law enforcement, they're stalking, and the two are not the same. 9GRJ690, NL415 handicap, 9NAL368. They're all going to be used against the Ontario Police Department. WP79266. Stalker. One stalker after another stalker after another stalker. SIDS HXY452. 59446V1. That's Galasso's Bakery. They're gang stalking. License 7XMV266. 9RGT835. 6HOK042. 8GNV987. 60263Z3. FJA Transport LLC. They're all gang stalking. Every single business, every single license plate, every single establishment, every logo, everything that I'm documenting is why the Ontario Police Department is being disbanded. They are a threat to the safety of the public. They are being disbanded as surely as you're hearing me document the P.O.C. It is currently 10:19 a.m. That's P.O.C. All right, you'll see the City of Ontario, the municipality, putting Paul Leon out of office and out of a job. License 7YLU824, 9MIZ523, 6KXT764, CJS logo, 81880W3 is the license plate, 6CWJ768, 6YEE489, 11765E1, 9BUF057, 8VEA264. License 8VZD338. This is the people of the state stalking as a population. I'm at the intersection of Archibald Avenue and Riverside Drive at 10:35 a.m. where no natural environment includes the sun being over that intersection. 8ZKR707. That's a third party. That's an Asian male crossing path in a dark blue van. 16137Y3. 8HAK442. 8TDK467. 7YMN085. 8KKA522. 7DCY139, 8SVH566, 6ZMC478, 476. And that's the fake son following me from place to place down the street. That's the population stalking me from place to place. And by the way, you're also understanding what is nothing near the OVITT Family Community Library, where there's no sun over that elevator staircase, where there's no sunlight over that staircase, and on the first floor where a bunch of stalkers who are demons are engaging in the psychopathic conduct of sitting around in a library to monitor one person. Monitoring is sitting around stalking me with noise, sitting around pacing with multiple shadows inside of that library, sitting around stalking with every move that I make, and monitoring my vagina while they're all keeping it under surveillance every time I go into the bathroom. That's what you're aware of when the fake sun's over me at Riverside and Archibald in Ontario, where I never go. And this is the entity that's engaging in that pattern of conduct. And obviously, it's very obvious. Yeah, it's very obvious. This is the disbanding of the Ontario Police Department. The genius is stalking in a helicopter so that you could be sure about how the United States is engaging in terrorizing American citizens. Bullying them when they don't have the evidence to prove that the government is targeting them. Defaming their character, ruining, stealing their property, and stealing their reputation. Stealing their accomplishments. All right, it is currently 10:36 a.m. This is P.O.C., the people of the state, obsessed with me sitting at a bus stop, obsessed with me when I'm sleeping outside, obsessed with my vagina, and gang stalking. That's the proof of it. 05948Z2, 8B34361, 8MTP331. 6FQF509, and it's pathetic. 6BKP156, and since the whole police department doesn't have anything more important to do than sit around stalking
they're going to be disbanded. Since they like to engage in kidnapping and not actually law enforcement, that they will be relieved of that ability to do so altogether. License 26299P2. It is currently 10:37 a.m. while the fake sun removes itself in the manner that I remove myself from the presence of the Ontario police at their crime scene. The police department, it's a crime scene. 2500 South Archibald Avenue, 7UDB 331. You know they're nothing but demons. That's why they're stalking day and night in the most idiotic manner that's all over the internet. I couldn't make it up if I wanted to. 78862A2, 9FJN820, 7M63982, 6MJH533, 71408, handicap, 8YPT717. And when you're documenting all this, remember at what point in the day is the sun going to be over Tracy Banks' apartment, Unit 51, like I was documenting since September of 2024? In November of 2024 when I remained there until May of 2025. At what point in the day is it over her apartment? Like I'm documenting when I was remained there. I just want to be clear. That's how you're understanding an inevitable prosecution, an inevitable demise. As you see the demonic environment where a bunch of demons rely on illusions while they're stalking together. And it is the hard evidence, the direct evidence of surveillance, which is psychopathic. Okay, and there are no racial lines where they're engaging in that. None whatsoever. Okay, it's currently 10:38 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, OMNITRANS, this is employee number 3017. It's a female. License plate 1545684. Bus number 2350. And the fake sun remaining over me as I documented on the bus. I'm headed from Archibald and Riverside Drive. Fake sun over me at that bus stop where the entity is stalking. And while on what is Vineyard and Francis, just to show you how the entity kept the fake sun en route, street for street, turn for turn, in conformity to the pattern of conduct. And engaging what is ongoing terrorism on that bus, which is a venue where state surveillance is underway, replete with AMR, engaging criminal summoning on Vineyard. And the entity maintaining ongoing surveillance for the entirety of that route, and then arriving at what is the very heavily documented B&G Plaza, where the entity has the fake sun over me at my arrival, which I will document. And all of this is evidence of the light source not remaining over 215 EC Street, where the City of Ontario is engaging in what is the sex offense, such as monitoring my vagina in the bathroom. Doing so while I am documenting the Ontario police flying over my head by helicopter as I step outside of the entrance. This is understanding the inconsistency with regard to the environment that the demons are stalking in. That inconsistency is the direct evidence, probative, highly probative evidence of a crime scene that is following the demonic conduct, the domestic terrorism of what is stalking with an environment where a population is engaged in monitoring, which is pursuant to stalking, i.e. gang stalking, okay? License plate 7JWP333, gang stalking at the B&G Plaza. It's 11:25 a.m. as I'm documenting, and the fake sun remaining over me going from Ontario Police Department. Okay, this is the randomness. This is the plain stupidity of what is the stalking under the fake sun bit by the demons that are engaged in gang stalking. It is currently 11:25 a.m. This is P.O.C. Believe it or not, this is documentation removing Alan D. WAPNER from office. He is engaged in gang stalking via OMNITRANS and via the Ontario International Airport that's hovering over the B&G Plaza. At the same time, that bus number 1327, license 1370398, stalking in the path, and possible light activity travels on the sidewalk while that demon operates the bus. And it's also light activity from the vehicle itself. The simultaneity of the conduct of the crossing the path of the vehicle. This is interstate commerce, gang stalking on the roads and the highways. Gang stalking using the planes and the helicopters in the sky space. That's also relevant to interstate commerce. And Alan D. WAPNER affiliated with both corrupt means of criminal surveillance, the Ontario International Airport and OMNITRANS. And this simultaneity, this demonic synchronicity occurring the moment that I start walking, okay? This is P.O.C. and the entity is doing so while the fake sun is over the top of my head. I documented the fake sign at this same B&G Plaza setting, the fake sign setting at this plaza. The evidence against the state of California is already complete. The prosecution of departments like the Ontario Police Department is already complete. The entity engaging in what is gang stalking through corrupt companies, the federal RICO case against OMNITRANS, the federal RICO case against the airlines, every airline's gang stalking associated with the Ontario International Airport is speaking to the prosecution of the people of the state. Every business in California is engaged in federal group stalking monitoring, as OMNITRANS demonstrates, as the airlines at the Ontario International Airport demonstrate while they're engaged in criminal surveillance. The entity has the fake sun over me at the B&G Plaza. It's 11:28 a.m. The entity has the fake sun over me as I'm documenting at Andy's Burgers at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The entity is hovering over Woodside Senior Apartments, which is much more northwest. This is showing pure targeting. All right, that's Southwest Airlines acting like they're taking off here. When I'm at the Ontario Town Square, they're doing the same thing. And then they're engaging what is plain donuts and going back in the opposite direction. This is the obvious engagement. There's a federal RICO case against every airline gang stalking and the criminal pattern of conduct that the Ontario International Airport is engaging in domestic terrorism. And it is the basis to remove that airport from existence. Okay, they are a threat to national security, engaging in domestic terrorism with the people of the state. This is again currently 11:28 a.m. and there's no sun over what is Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue. And this is stalking. And this is public corruption. The business, the employee, and the vehicle itself is a means of documenting the pattern of conduct. And the entity is engaging in what is domestic terrorism systematically in concert with the people of the state. All right, that's P.O.C. It is currently again 11:29 a.m. Alrighty, license plate. Gang stalking in concert with the Alan D. WAPNER is relevant to OMNITRANS engaged in federal group stalking monitoring and the Ontario International Airport. The corrupt airport authority, the corrupt business practices of OMNITRANS are very heavily documented. Terrorist, maintaining the venue, which is the bus itself, replete with the fake sun and the impossible light activity, stalking by plane and helicopter when I'm on the bus, while the entity is gang stalking with the people of the state and the state directly, all manner of domestic terrorism and psychological torture via OMNITRANS. And the video that I just captured, I will include it in the podcast. The people of the state that I'm going to document right now are engaged in that P.O.C. together. License 8YVJ707. The female gang stalking operating the OMNITRANS bus, her license plate. She's gang stalking right now as well. This is her impunity. This is relevant to federal prison. This is what they do with the police departments. This is what they do with the ambulances who are demons stalking in the path. License 8 USN224. And OMNITRANS is gang stalking while you hear impossible audible activity. And it's impossible because no planes taking off from the airport are creating any sort of activity creation. She's monitoring, and she's doing so while representing OMNITRANS. You'll see the fake sun reflecting off of the vehicle, 8 USN224. You will see her inside of the vehicle bearing the logo of OMNITRANS. She is doing so, creating activity. License 1522054. And the fake sun is directly over the top of my head, where OMNITRANS, the company, is engaged in criminal monitoring, and doing so while they are also engaged in monitoring the evidence against that company. That's also an unlawful offense pursuant to obstruction of justice. They're doing so while what's the ongoing consistent pattern of conduct? Starbucks is already prosecuted, in other words. This is evidence speaking to the absence of the natural environment surrounding Starbucks while I'm documenting it remaining over my head, and the people of the state are pacing in and out of that venue, aware also that I'm documenting and engaging in more and more harassment and more terrorism as I document them. The entity is engaging in this P.O.C. and the ongoing comprehensive evidence of that P.O.C. is what's going to be used against each and every last one of them. License 8FZW554. License 9JQE251. License 93149C4. License plate 9BUX746, license 6H60614, 9BLH286. All right, this is currently 11:32 a.m. and the fake sun is over the Ontario Police Department today. That's entirely irreconcilable with, again, what the entity is engaged in. License 1532789, vehicle 1891. That's a demon operating an Ontario Police Department vehicle, and there is no sun that's ever going to be over the Ontario Police Department at any time of day. The Ontario Police Department is a demon-infected and corrupt agency, and they are being disbanded for engaging in domestic terrorism. repeatedly kidnapping upon domestic terrorism, 1628773, and doing so with the intent to obstruct justice, meaning they didn't want me to expose what they're engaging in and what the state of California is engaging in. And because of that, they're not only being exposed and prosecuted for domestic terrorism, they're being removed entirely as a police department. It is currently 11:33 a.m. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, documenting stalking by the Ontario Police. You'll see the fake sun over me at B&G Plaza, and this is the fourth plane that the Ontario International Airport is gang stalking pursuant to, having planes hovering over the B&G Plaza and doing so while I am documenting 1706919, vehicle 1129. The entity has the fake sun over this same block. Remember the Ontario Town Square OVITT Family Community Library, the parking garage. This is all the same location. The fake sun is still here, okay, at 6 p.m. in the evening. This is the entity that is surrounded with evidence. Their corruption is exposed. Their sexual predatory behaviors are exposed. The entire, diligently expose every detail of how they're engaged in gang stalking, and they're doing it in plain view under a fake sun. That's letting you know about their mental illness, 9SRR884. Okay, and that's letting you know every level of corruption. The fire department gang stalking, the police department gang stalking, the airport gang stalking, the businesses gang stalking, the people that stayed in their vehicles, their own, and in their homes gang stalking, 8KKF194. That's what you're learning when the entity is engaged in the ongoing obvious method of gang stalking and just having one plane after another. There's no planes that are ever going to be taking off over here, let alone they're doing it under the fake sun, which is also a proven fact. So what are you doing? You're openly engaging in gang stalking. License 61229D2. That's going to be prosecuted as impunity, and it's going towards your mental illness, your behavioral health, how you're a threat to the public. All right, I'm at Plum and Holt Boulevard right now, where the people of the state are stalking at the intersection. I took a picture of that. You'll see that another demon at Metro 102 stalking at the corner with their hazard lights on. I've been documenting this pattern for years. Every time I come to this intersection, demons stalking with light, sitting in the irrelevant position. That's the outward demonstration of mental illness, the stalking with light conduct. These are the mentally ill. They are engaging what is terrorism as they engage in this uniform method of surveillance, and it's demonic. License, that's City of Ontario. That's the municipality. License 98890F4, 6HWU612. And the demon stalking at Metro 1 and 2 apartments. This is license 9PYH586. This is an Asian male. Shorts that are too high, black and red Nikes, and a black t-shirt. Looks like Balenciaga on the back of it. He's gang stalking. Doing so, leaving his vehicle, his black Camry, with the hazard lights on. Fake sun is over my head where he stands. And this is what the Ontario police are gang stalking me to while I'm capturing them at the intersection. This is P.O.C. All right, so you're going to look at the timestamps. You'll see Ontario PD pacing, because that's what they're doing under the fake sun. They're being demons right in front of your face. Not only are they being demons, they're engaged in gang stalking. This is the embarrassing crime of gang stalking that a corrupt law enforcement agency is being caught for and exposed for. And they're doing so while I'm showing you what's the context of them crossing path at the intersection. This demon engaging in facilitation, that's federal prison, by the way, 9PYH586. Doing so, helping the police that are still stalking, while the entity stalks with planes, 4 of them, while this demon has their hazard lights on in relevant position, stalking in the path, and doing so while, again, OMNITRANS is also aiding in that. And the Ontario police were pacing one vehicle. All those license plates I just read, that was all an iteration of the P.O.C. acting in concert together. All right, the entity's doing so on an ongoing, consistent basis. Paul Leon's gang stalking. The city hall is right here in relevant position where the fake sun sets. The city hall is a crime scene, just like the police department is a crime scene. I've also documented the fire department. It's a crime scene, while the entity is engaging in fully exposed surveillance. JAAT U.S. P.O.C. Alrighty, that's nothing other than activity by a bunch of demons who are monitoring. And all the resources wasted on criminal conduct is why Paul Leon is being removed from office, and so is a very heavily documented Alan D. WAPNER. Everything that he's related to, involved in, engages in criminal conduct. It's engaged in criminal surveillance. Every company, OMNITRANS, the airport, They're gang stalkers. It is currently, by the way, who is this? Let me get this company that's engaged in the P.O.C. This is Pavement Rehab. Let me show you what's happening under the fake sun. Capturing what is ongoing facilitation, 9PJG619, 7KWH309, and the City Hall is in relevant position. Paul Leon's engaged in criminal surveillance right now. All right, this is P.O.C. And you'll see the exact same circumstances. The fake sun is sitting over the top of my head. The demons can hold whatever props they want in their hands. You can hold a baby, you can hold a hard hat, you can hold a flashlight, you can hold a puppy dog, you can drive a vehicle, you can ride a Mustang, you can drive a construction truck. All right, but when you're representing what is a so-called law enforcement agency and you're bearing a gun, you're going to prison. You're going to federal prison by default. You're going straight to federal prison. And when you're helping those demons that bear weapons and wear badges that they're disqualified from bearing, you're going to federal prison as well. And the entity does that through corrupt companies like Pavement Rehab. The entity does it through corrupt government bodies like the Ontario City Hall. And Paul Leon's crime scene is documented right now in relevant position, while the same exact light activity, relevant positioning, demonic pacing, fake sun over me. P.O.C. This is understanding how Satan's system of public corruption is executed. All right, a bunch of demons sitting in the parking lot, willing to suffer from hypothermia just to keep me under surveillance as I walk through. License 468FP, handicap, 6YYH486, 9DTM582. License 6ZZS020, 6ZFY413, 7LET211, 7ZAE791, 8UJK251, 4RRT687, 7JSZ855. Oh yeah, somebody's a genius with no license plate on their car. 54748M1. This is P.O.C. It is currently let me see. We have a VIN number, don't we? Yes, we do. We'll go ahead and get that. All right, people thinking that they're geniuses, removing license plates while they're engaged in criminal surveillance of furtherance of murder and kidnapping. And as I do this, a demon adjacent to me starting the ignition, monitoring as I use my communication device, doing so under the fake sun, openly engaging in what is terrorism against an American citizen. This is the very thing that American citizens are going to think twice about. The city of Ontario, these demons out here, California, before they're made an example of, they've been doing it just willy-nilly, just gang stalking in front of the feds. Just like nothing's going to happen, the entity is going to respect the federal law and they're going to respect the punishment, the prosecution that comes from engaging in gang stalking. They don't now, and they will. This is exactly what you're not going to engage in with this audacity that these demons have right now. This bold, it's like nothing is going to happen. That's exactly why federal prison is the antidote. That's exactly why. 1DERL in the symbol hand. 6GRX117. Engaging in gang stalking and thinking that, oh, I'm just going to remove my license plates off the vehicle. And I'm just going to sit there while the federal prosecutor is just walking through and documenting, because I don't care, because nothing's going to happen, because I'm going to call the police on them if they dare enforce their rights and document me, because it doesn't matter what they're saying, because I'm going to engage in terrorism. This is what these demons are. It's tantamount to making those impermissible threats. You want to be a maniacal psychopath, you want to engage in stalking and threatening the federal government if you want to go to an asylum. That's what you're stating. You want to go to prison. That's what you're communicating. And the feds are listening loud and clearly, listening very closely. because all of their behavior is being analyzed. All of your criminal conduct is being noted, all of it. It's currently 11:42 a.m., arriving while the fake sun arrives, meaning in an inconsistent environment. The sun is not already at the OVITT Family Community Library, where, by the way, it wouldn't be in the first place because it was here at 7 in the morning. But while you document Satan, Satan is tied to what Satan committed. And that's how you're going to prosecute Satan for the stalker that he is. C-A-L-L-A-Q-A, I believe. C-A-L-L-A-Q-A, yeah. P.O.C. I'm going to show you the fake sun that's at the entrance at 11:43 a.m. Not at the same time remaining over the Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue. Not remaining over the let me see. Let me get this entrance at 215 E.C. Street right now. The current time is 11. The current time is 11:43. I'm going to get the fake sun right here. And the entity is maintaining this light source, remember, into the afternoon where Ontario police at this same entrance is stalking by helicopter and everybody's walking around like nothing's happening. The entity is gang stalking all night long. And doing so by helicopter, and the next day waking up like nothing, everything's normal. These are delusional psychopaths, and the entity is going to be treated like the mentally unstable population that it is, engaging in terrorism with a corrupt government, as a corrupt government. And the entity keeps this fake sun at this same entrance into the evening. Okay, this is P.O.C. It is currently 11:44. This population monitoring my vagina together, over and under the age of majority. P.O.C.
All right, this is literally monitoring via children in a bathroom where they just followed from one area of the city to another with the whole fake sun, including on the bus. And this is the ongoing surveillance in the bathroom with the people these are adults bringing children in to engage in maintaining all of that activity noise. And the reality is that they're demons that are monitoring my physical movements, and they're doing it in the bathroom. Okay, this is P.O.C. It's Title 18 Federal Stalking, and it's the sex offense committed by the entity. It's July 8, 2025. This is P.O.C. All of that's activity. They're all in engineered light. They're all under the fake sun. This is mania. Maniacal psychopath stalking in the bathroom. The one stalking with light, this is them, with kids monitoring in the bathroom. And what's so psychopathic is that all of this is about another person that they're monitoring. This is mental illness. This is 215 E.C. Street, all under the fake sun. This is P.O.C. It's currently, again, dropping something as soon as I swipe my screen. These are demons. It's July 8, 2025, 11:58 a.m. Not only do the entity engage in sexual violence via children, they engage in sexual violence against children. And that's relevant to the threat that's posed to them while they are used to engage in bathroom monitoring. It's currently 11:58 a.m. This is the OVITT Family Community Library. It's P.O.C. All right, it is 6:03 p.m. The current record already reflects that the entity keeps the fake sun over this library. So you have what is approximately 16 to 20 people engaging in bathroom monitoring together, and that's just on the first level, where an entity is together with this is 16 sex offenders that are engaging what is monitoring me inside of the bathroom while one of the third parties entering. Again, stalking with activity in the engineer light. And then you're understanding the perpetual sex offense is that which is shared by a population that are together engaging in voyeurism, together engaging in what is monitoring, together engaging in what is surveillance, and what is a bathroom, which is a private space, which is sexually perverted, predatory, motivated, and demented. The entities engaging in this together as one, and again, just surveying the circumstances. They are both the patrons and the employees. They're all under the fake sun. This is where you know the Ontario police are flying in circles over me as I document the sex offense. The entity's engaging in that. And just with regard to the numerosity, that's just inside of the building.
The entity is maintaining surveillance by pacing all around in the sky space and all around in traffic. The thousands of people that are driving on Euclid Avenue, on C Street, D Street, at E Street, and all of traffic that's engaged in what is concentrating all of surveillance on me inside of the bathroom, inside of this library. That's speaking to the sex offense. But as far as bodies, even if one person was engaged in stalking you in a bathroom and monitoring your genitalia, the entity has over 16 on the first floor inside of this bathroom engaging in the sex offense on behalf of the City of Ontario and the Ontario Police Department. It is currently 6:04 p.m. This is the perpetual sex offense underway at the OVITT Family Community Library, where a bunch of people are psychopaths engaging in surveillance under the guise of reading, being on the internet, doing whatever, in the engineer light under the fake sun, with the entity that's stalking from place to place. This is P.O.C. at the 215 E.C. Street, OVITT Family Community Library. This is a perpetual sex offense. P.O.C. All right, I just want to make sure that everyone maintains the proper perspective with regard to the sex offenders that include Jason Isaac Fields. This is a violent sex offender on more than one level. He's also a sex offender while I'm subject to federal group stalking and monitoring. And the perpetual sex offense while he has conspired with his sex partner, which is my parental figure, that speaks to his own mental issues while he's having sex with her, and they're engaging in what is obsessing over me in a sexually perverted manner as well, while they're gang stalking and seeking to profit from my demise. This is always going back to those two demons that are engaging in what is this incentivizing the entity that is gang stalking, the demon-possessed kingdom spouse couple that have the dynamic of a mother and son having sex with one another. These are sex offenders that are going to federal prison, as I'm documenting the perpetual sex offense that I'm subject to, while they are, again, behind what is the motive of the entity stalking, stealing property, maintaining a fraudulent marriage, maintaining a secret conservatorship, stealing property from me, defaming my character, defaming me while they are doing so also on the venue of the internet, all while acting with this entity gang stalking. Jason Isaac Fields is indeed going to federal prison along with his sex partner that he conspired against me with and stole from me with, and that is Tracy Banks. It is currently 6:07 p.m. This is P.O.C. All right, ongoing criminal surveillance by the City of Ontario on the venue of the internet, and it is done in concert with the people of the state who are monitoring. The entity is engaging in what is, as I'm publishing, damning evidence, of course, and the entity is hostile to it. The entity is also psychopathic, engaging in what is the quote-unquote passive-aggressive means of psychological torture, which is, again, very much of a paradox, but the entity is, in other words, torturing, stalking, threatening, keeping their back to you, harassing, terrorizing, doing so while maintaining a quote-unquote sense of anonymity, not knowing you personally. Psychological torture is also relevant while the entity is gang stalking you through those whose name you do know, who you do have some form of relationship with, personal, professional, romantic, etc. Inside of the OVITT Family Community Library, while I'm publishing video evidence that the entity is keeping under surveillance, the entity is engaged in what is the unlawful means of controlling my device, turning my music that I'm listening to, turning it on and off with regard to simultaneity to my editing the videos in the description box on YouTube. This is a means of harassment. It is the petty acts of the demon-possessed, but remember, I've shown you the combination of both the sophomoric behavior, but it's also life-threatening conduct of psychopaths who commit murder and kidnapping and engage in a pattern, an unabated program of psychological torture. So it is the entity using what it has at its resources, harassing by any means necessary, including through the act of federal stalking that I'm going to prosecute the City of Ontario for, but engaging what is Title 18 conduct, and it is relevant to what is not like a malfunction of my Mac device or the music app or anything. The entity is removing the audio and also stopping my the sound of what it is that I'm listening to while I'm publishing my video documentation. This is a pattern. This is relevant to monitoring on the internet, and it's also pursuant to the demonic pattern where the entity is engaging in psychological torture, stalking with activities, stalking with light, stalking with relevant positioning. It's the simultaneity of that conduct. The entity is doing that on my device. So as I'm editing it, for example,
The fake sent over the Ontario Police Department today. Very damning evidence, by the way, which is not the first time I captured it, and I'm comparing it with what I documented on July 2nd, 2024, where the fake sent is in Los Angeles over the Social Security Administration office in the same manner over the top of my head. The entity is very hostile to that, and this is means whereby the entity is harassing by just turning my music on and off as I'm publishing and editing the details. There are a bunch of psychopaths sitting around stalking in the library, beating on the desk, demonstrating severe mental illness. This is why the people of the state and how the entity is going to be prosecuted as mentally disturbed gang stalkers. It will be directly associated with what it is, mental illness. All right, it is currently 7 p.m. This is federal stalking, criminal activity that the city of Ontario is engaging in on the venue of the internet. Remember, the Wi-Fi is the Ontario Library Wi-Fi. They're engaged in federal stalking. Also, the Ontario Wi-Fi, the entity is engaged in federal stalking under Title 18. It is 7 p.m. at the OVITT Family Community Library. This is P.O.C.
Ontario PD flying over my head at the TABOR Professional Building, gang stalking with the people of the state, engaging in a nightly session published on a nightly basis of ongoing criminal monitoring, replete with the fake sun over the Demons headquarters, the Ontario Police Department at 2500 South Archibald today. And it is no surprise, these are demons. They are engaged in what is federal group stalking monitoring, including at the Ontario Police Department. They are going to be disbanded, and they're going to be disbanded for engaging in criminal monitoring using helicopters in order to terrorize American citizens, as I am subject to. Pay attention, because they're flying under the fake moon. The entity kept the fake sun over me, including at the Ontario Police Department. That's not the sun that was over the police department. That was an identity of the targeting environment. The crime scene being the Ontario Police Department. This is the crime scene here, where the entity maintains light sources in the sky space above me. The entity is gang stalking together. Okay, right now the Ontario Police is flying circle, exhibiting mental illness while they engage in the demonic pacing in the specific environment. They're doing it in engineered light. They're doing it starting by flying over my head, and they're doing this on a nightly basis. This is what they were doing at the Ontario Museum before the Ontario Police engaged in criminal summoning on June 11th, engaging in what is criminal summoning pursuant to what is a gang stalker wearing a police uniform. And that demon's going to federal prison, by the way. And the entity is engaging in what is gang stalking at the bus stop that I'm sitting on Euclid Avenue, flying in circles over my head. The entity is engaging in federal stalking by helicopter at the Starbucks, where I'm remaining there. The entity is engaging in what is following me by gang stalking by helicopter everywhere that I remain. And this is at the TABOR Professional Building. Capturing it, this is again, the entity engaging in that P.O.C. Here is my upright shadows. And here are the multiple shadows on the ground. That's surveillance that the Ontario Police are engaging in. Now, during the day, the way that this impossible light activity manifests is that all the demons, who are the people of the state, are stalking while the entity keeps a fake sun over me, and they're all stalking with light as well. They're not driving in sunlight. They're not flying under the sun. The sun's not over the Ontario Police Department. Those are demons at a crime scene where the Ontario Police is going to be shut down. That building's going to be no more. It would be better off made into a flea market. All right, this is P.O.C. One demon after another stalking a population. This is criminal conduct with the Ontario Police Department that just used a helicopter to engage in the demonic pacing in concert with the people of the state. Okay, this is P.O.C. The Ontario Police just went behind a tree. They're still stalking. They are still in relevant position stalk. All right, the entity is maintaining that pattern of conduct, and they're engaging in this again at an earlier time because I am at the venue at an earlier. All right, just like you saw, I just want to be clear. Me capturing the fake sun at 9 in the morning, and you'll recall I have the fake sun over me at the Ontario Police Department at 4 and 5 o'clock in the evening. Those are demons, and they are engaged in the pattern of conduct. They are going to be subject to the federal RICO case against the state of California, and they're stalking me in helicopters, nothing other than punctuating what is the federal prosecution of a gang stalking police department. And it's unfortunate. It's unclear who was running operations, but clearly Mike LORENZ is inept, and he is corrupt, and he's also very foolish. This is the criminal and obvious engagement in federal group stalking and monitoring at the TABOR Professional Building, flying over me, and then as I start capturing video of it, flying in circles above me, still stalking in the path. They're engaging in what is still stalking a helicopter, but they're flying off because I'm capturing video right now. This is the P.O.C. It's currently 8:31 p.m. This is, I want to be clear, this is relevant to the entity that used the secret conservatorship to try to steal property from me. Not only they're not stealing my property, their co-defendant Tracy Banks, she's going to federal prison, and so is Jason Isaac Fields. Using a fraudulent marriage, using a secret conservatorship, gang stalking, and targeting me with the corrupt court, not telling me about property that belongs to me while trying to criminally defame me through a bunch of imbeciles that are stalking on video for years in helicopter, and with the corrupt police department repeatedly kidnapping me and trying to falsely depict my character on paper. They're all going to federal prison, and this ignorant co-defendant is why. This is P.O.C. The people of the state keep molesting with impossible light activity, and the Ontario police, under the fake moon, continuously flying over around, stalking via helicopter. Continuously threatening, continuously stalking, continuously engaged in what is harassing. This is in the engineered light. The people of the state that are driving are aiming impossible light activity on me. They're molesting. These are sex offenders that are stalking with the Ontario Police Department. This is demonic pacing down all the streets. Look at the gate. That's impossible light. These demons are hitting me with engineered light while they're stalking with the Ontario Police Department. That's going to be disbanded. The people of the state are being prosecuted. This is going to be the prosecution of the state of California. These are demons stalking a woman in the middle of the night. And this is mental illness exposed. P.O.C. All right, the demon-possessed, severely mentally disturbed, using a helicopter to engage in stalking. P.O.C.